Hey folks, it's Lachlan here again, and I'm going to be recording this video and posting it without editing just to get some raw thoughts off of my mind. I know as I make this that I will likely get a lot of angry comments for it, but speaking the truth is important. So that's what I'm going to try to do. In this video, I'm going to discuss why it is I believe that black and white South Africans struggle so deeply to unite. And it's more complicated than most people realize. I'm going to come at this from both sides, which means that both sides will probably get angry at me. But anyway, here goes. Firstly, as a white South African, one of the worst things I hear other white South Africans say to blacks is, oh, just get over apartheid. That is probably the worst thing you could say to a black citizen of this country. Because while apartheid may have ended over 30 years ago, in the grand scheme of history, that's not a very long time. There are people alive today who suffered greatly under the injustices done during apartheid. Not 100 years ago, not 200 years ago, they are still alive and dealing with the consequences of discriminatory laws. So to say to a black South African, even one who was not alive themselves during apartheid, oh, just get over it. You, as a white South African, when you say that, you come across as though you don't care about the legitimate pain and heartache that their relatives experienced. Now, I'm going to talk about the other angle of this. In my experience, black South Africans have a selective memory when it comes to the history of South Africa. I know from personal interactions that there is a certain type of black person who loves to blame everything wrong in their life on apartheid and everything that they don't get that they feel they deserve is being withheld from them because of the evils of white monopoly capital. They conveniently forget that the African National Congress has been in power for 3 decades. It still is the dominant political force in this country. Yet the fat cats within the ANC have largely allowed their own people, the people they promised to liberate from poverty and oppression, to live in conditions that in many ways have worsened since the end of apartheid. The ANC politicians and the political elite of South Africa in general do not care about you. I've made videos about this in the past, but I will say it again. The politicians in South Africa don't care if you starve to death in the gutter. They don't care if your daily existence is a living hell. All they care about is having enough tax money to be able to fly up and down the country, fly to other countries to attend fancy events and sports matches, and having enough money to spend thousands at hotels and restaurants and millions on luxury European cars and mansions in gated estates, which you will never get to enter. So, while I agree that 30 years is nowhere near long enough to erase the damage done by apartheid, the things that are happening now are largely not the fault of white South Africans. Yes, it is true that there are a number of white billionaires who are very influential in the business world in South Africa. But let me clarify a stereotype for you. I have experienced people attacking me as though I am a member of this billionaire class, as if I have Johann Rupert or someone like that on speed dial, and when I run out of money at the end of the month, I can just call him up and ask him for a spare 50,000 rand. That is simply not true. I do not possess institutional power of that kind. I am an ordinary South African like any black, colored, or Indian citizen of this country. The idea that we need to constantly be fighting with each other along racial lines is only beneficial to those who profit by keeping us divided. Understand that if the angriest among you who want civil war and who want vengeance against whites, because people like that do exist, I've met them in my comments. If you get what you want, and all the white people, and all the Indians, and all the coloreds are gone, whether through violence or some other means, it is black South Africans who will suffer. You may want to kill all of us, but at the end of the day, once we're all gone, it is the poorest among you who will pay the price. I don't want that to happen. I'm not looking forward to that, and I'm not calling for that. I don't want to see us at war, and I want us to unite. But in order to unite, both black South Africans and whites have to stop focusing on the past while also realizing that the past does have a legitimate effect on the present. So we have to walk a difficult balancing act and treat each other with charity, kindness, and sensitivity, not in a limp-wristed, kumbaya, fake Rainbow Nation kind of way. But we have to be realistic about the facts of life in South Africa as it is today in 2025. We can't be living as though apartheid is still going on, because the fact is, it's not. As always, I hope that this video has been of some use to you. Look after yourselves, take care of each other, no matter what your race is. And for now, farewell.